Yo, what's up, everybody? What's happening? Here we are on April 23rd, 2025 with the Midweek Report. Man, and, we got a few things here that we're going to be catching up on here with this Midweek Report. Hopefully we'll have a couple of columnists here and there to join on with this Midweek Report. As, there's been a few news tidbits that's been happening over the past couple of days. Here, with, some fights being announced or fight cards has been announced. Other news and notes here that, we're going to hopefully go over in this particular midweek report. Also have like a lot that's going to be happening tomorrow here on the Boxing Source YouTube channel. As we're scheduled to have two interviews. That's right, two interviews on the Boxing Source YouTube channel here. So, just if you haven't done so already, just subscribe to the Boxing Source here on YouTube. You'll be able to get the updates and make sure you hit the notification bell there so that you'll be notified when we have either lives or post videos on the YouTube channel, as we're going to be scheduled to have world title challenger Edward Kid Vasquez on, and then also scheduled to have Chris Cyborg on tomorrow here. So be on the lookout for that. And then also we'll see about getting uploaded highlights from a press conference that's scheduled for tomorrow as well. So got a lot that's on slate for tomorrow. Friday may be on site for the weigh-in on the fight card that's happening at Bowie State University, of course, headlined by Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw. If you haven't done so already, check out the interview with Greg Sharpshooter Outlaw that was part of the Boxing Source podcast that happened on Sunday, whether it's through YouTube or you can check it out on Spotify, right? So you do have that as well. And, there's some time, we'll see if we could, talk a little bit about the fight card that's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. You know what I mean? So we got that, and also some rumors that have been floating around the boxing sphere that, well, if you've kind of like been around the Boxing Source for some time, we pretty much like had a hint that something could happen within the welterweight division. So we're going to be talking about that as well here on the Midweek Report. But first, wanted to make sure that I wanted to give shout outs here and there for what's been going down. Shout out to DKO Boxing, of course, has been part sponsor to the Boxing Source over the past couple of months, and has been a key part in getting a number of these interviews that you've seen here on the Boxing Source. So shout out to DKO Boxing. Greatness awaits. And also wanted to give a shout out to my brother Dre. There, Just Boxing Talk, Big Dre of Just Boxing Talk. Was able to hit up the cash apps. Able to hit up the cash apps for the Boxing Source, but also has something here, of course, that we've kind of put up on previous weeks, but then also here, as I'm going to bring it up here just now, as we have something coming up for May 3rd. So I'm going to run that here real quick.
Attention fight fans in the DMV. It's live, it's local, it's amateur boxing. Saturday, May the 3rd at Catholic University's Heritage Hall, 620 Michigan Avenue Northeast, Washington, D.C. Come out and support the next generation of fighters as some of the DMV's best amateurs take on their counterparts from Cincinnati, Ohio. Baby Girl Productions, in association with Boxing Not Bullets, presents a night of amateur boxing and karaoke, Saturday, May the 3rd at Heritage Hall, 620 Michigan Avenue Northeast in Washington, D.C. Tickets are now on sale and just $30, available at eventbritedc.com. That's eventbritedc.com. Search Knockout Champs. or you can use the QR code on your screen.
So you have it there. You have amateur boxing in DC on May 3rd. So be sure to you'll go ahead and check that out. May 3rd, that's coming up. So got that's in the DC area. And of course, the Sharpshooter Promotions fight card at Bowie State University. That's coming up here for April 26th. Looking forward to that. And I was going to see about talking about the fight card headlined by Chris Eubank Jr. versus Connor Ben. It's going to be at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So you do have that coming up this weekend. So very busy weekend. And then, we got a lot of action that's coming up back to back to back here in the sport of boxing, not just here locally, but around the country and around the world, particularly next week, of course, as you have what's going on at Times Square on May 2nd, then Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on May 3rd, and then Las Vegas on May 4th. And as I mentioned, we're going to have one of those fighters that is involved in the fight card on May 4th, scheduled for tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So y'all be sure to go ahead and check that out. Now, wanted to get into this news here, real quick. Wanted to go ahead and let me see if I could share this screen, what's going on. So first off, wanted to share this, right? All right, so there it goes. It says there through the World Boxing Association, right, that we got the WBA ordering Gary Antuanne Russell versus Andy Hiraoka. This has been posted up by Jesus Volano. It says that the WBA Championship Committee has officially ordered a showdown between reigning super lightweight champion Gary Antuanne Russell and his mandatory challenger Andy Hiraoka. WBA, self-promotion, issued formal notice to both camps, granting them a 30-day window to negotiate terms beginning on April 22nd and running through May 21st. Per the championship rule, the title holder must defend the belt against the next available contender within 120 days of claiming the title. For Gary Antuanne Russell, the deadline is to fulfill the mandatory obligation is July 1st of this year. Should the parties fail to reach an agreement, or if either side refuses to participate, the WBA reserves the right to call a purse bid in accordance to its internal regulations. Okay, so that is what they have there on World Boxing Association's website. Now, yes, you had Gary Antuanne Russell, who won the WBA title from Jose Rayo Valenzuela on March 1st at the Barclays Center. Okay. And with that being said, I guess, as a one contender in the super lightweight division put it, that particular title has basically had been, kind of like handed around a number of times. So now you're going to have Gary Antuanne Russell potentially fighting Andy Hiraoka, but we got to get more news in reference to that. And, we got a great panelist that's here joining with us that's going to talk about all this news here with the World Boxing Association and more. Of course, it's our guy, the host of Brunch Boxing. Brother Matt is in the building. What's going on, Matt?
Yeah, we here, man. Listen, I'm so happy that you are live, man. I needed to get my fill of boxing talk. I have not had any boxing talk for a week. And what better place to talk boxing than the longest running podcast of all time, The Boxing Source. What's going on, JBZ?
Of all times. Yo, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just catching up on the news and stuff like that. The WBA is WBA, and as they say, just was bringing up that thing there with them ordering the mandatory for the super lightweight title between Gary Antuanne Russell and their mandatory challenger that they named in Andy Hiroka. Okay, so we have that there that I just talked about. Now, hold on a second. Hold on. I think we got a tag team partner that's about to join here on the Boxing Source Midweek Report, and that's our guy Ezra, the co-host of Brunch Boxing, the walk and talk, the sit and spit, or whatever you got. There Ezra's in the building. What's going on, Ezra?
How's it going, guys? Listen, I'm in a spot where the service is very, very sketchy, so I hope this works out.
Oh, okay. So we might have a test. Which one will have the better service? Ezra with his questionable thing,
instead of both of us
with his
improving,
AirPods.
instead of both of us improving, I got worse, and we just equaled at how terrible our service is.
Yeah. So we got this news here with the WBA ordering the super lightweight thing there with the mandatory. Andy Hiroka is named as a mandatory. They say that the parties for Andy Hiroka and Gary Antuanne Russell, have the customary 30 days or so to negotiate to see if they can come to an agreement. And if not, then there'll be a purse bid. But there's been some rumors or some things here and there saying that maybe potentially that fight could take place over in Japan. But as of right now, I haven't been able to get any update on that from as they say, a direct source. And I've been trying. Y'all know I've been trying. So that's what I pretty much had so far. So brother Matt, I know that you've been out and reaching towards some people within the circles of Andy Hiroka or whatnot, or somebody that may know about it. But what are you thinking about this potential matchup between Gary Antuanne Russell and Andy Hiroka?
Well, I don't think it's going to happen in June. For the simple fact that I'm hearing that the card is going to be announced tomorrow, as soon as tomorrow. So if they're going to announce that and nobody knows anything right now, then it can't be happening so soon. I would love for it to happen, but I remember when we spoke to Gary Antuanne and Mr. Gary Russell, Antuanne wasn't going to be coming back until later in the year. So this would be a very big surprise if he was to take this fight a lot sooner than that.
Yeah. And with that June 19th date that they're looking at for Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki there, with Brian Norman being the WBO welterweight championship, welterweight champion, that would make it like really soon that they could try to announce this right after the WBA had announced the mandatory. I mean, we got like a couple months before that particular date. You know what I mean? So that would be kind of weird that they would kind of like put this up and then say, hey, okay, they're gonna fight each other at that date. It just wouldn't like make much sense there, at least on my part. You know what I mean?
But not to get sidetracked. Since the WBA is ordering fights, why don't they order Benavidez versus Bivol?
Yeah, I mean, if the WBC could do it, then the WBA could probably do it. You know what I mean? And no, I haven't seen any updates that they could do that. But yet they could order Antuanne Russell versus Andy Hiroka though. I mean,
I like that fight though. That's a great fucking fight.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's a big fight for Russell. Believe it or not, I think if I was him, and I'm not him, obviously, but if I was him,
if you ran the zoo,
if I ran the zoo like John McGrew, here's what I'd do: I would go to Japan for that fight. I really would.
I would too. I would go to Japan. I mean, make yourself a name out in Japan too. Get that exposure, and you get the win, and you're known in multiple countries, man. Especially one of the biggest markets there for the sport of boxing.
And Gary Antuanne Russell look like he like anime, so I'm sure he'll fit right in over there.
I don't know, man. Next time I interview him, I might ask him that question. You know what I mean? So that could be something there on that front. And then also, what else they had, man? Now this one is pretty much like I would say like a money grab. and them saying that, oh, Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero set the class for the WBA welterweight championship. So through their championship committee, they have given the okay for a welterweight title fight between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero for that bout that they're going to have there May 2nd in Times Square. And they say that, of course, Boots Ennis now as the super champion there, as he was able to, unify with the IBF and WBA championships. Now, they also say that Edis is now mandated to defend that championship against Shakur Giasov, the mandatory challenger, who stepped aside to allow that unification bout there. So they say, furthermore, the winner of Ennis versus Giasov will be required to face the winner of Garcia versus Romero. Yeah.
So here's my thing again. So the winner of Garcia versus Romero is going to be the WBA world/regular champion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then they're going to be mandated to fight the super champion. So why can't the WBA mandate its regular champion, David Benavidez, to fight its super champion, Dimitri Bivol? I don't get it.
And I don't understand it either. Me personally, I'm like, why? I don't know why they would tie in the Garcia Romero fight as a WBA welterweight title fight when everyone knows that Garcia, if he beats Romero, and Haney, if he beats Ramirez, that they're going to have a rematch later this year. So why would they put in this order? And as far as I know, I thought being the super champion makes you have different guidelines, so to speak, as a super champion. I know it does for the WBO.
Hey, listen. Not to talk about your boy, but I remember a certain heavyweight from the UK was dying to fight Alexander Povetkin instead of fighting Deontay Wilder. He was like, oh, no. The WBA is making us fight Alexander Povetkin. So this is par for the course. Okay, let's not pretend like this didn't happen before. When that super champion wants that fight is going to happen.
Why can't you get past this Joshua Wilder thing?
Because
why is this still lingering in his mind?
It is the biggest and best fight that has not happened in my lifetime.
All right.
Now, mind you, I thought Matt didn't like to speak about the past, but I guess it's selective. All right.
Listen, only when I'm on the wrong side of history.
Oh man, yeah, but like you said, you bring up that point about the WBA could order this and make the winner of Ryan versus Romero the next mandatory for the winner of Boots versus Giasov, and I'm like, come on, whoa, what are we doing here? We now we're trying to make up rules as we go or something like that. I don't know what's going on. Gilberto Mendoza, hey, I don't know, man. I might have to send a couple emails here and there and say what's up with the championship committee here. This doesn't make much sense.
You know what it does, though? I'll tell you what it does do. It's almost like they did it to garner interest in the Boots Giasov fight, where it's like, hey, you have to watch this because if he wins this, he probably fights Ryan Garcia, and it's almost like to garner interest in a fight that no one really wants to see.
Yeah, you probably have a point there. I mean, hey, for Boots, man, I would go ahead and get that fight over with as soon as possible. I'm like, hey, why not? I mean, hey, if I feel like I'm healthy after about a month or something like that, then let's schedule this for July. Why not?
What is the percentage of likeliness, right, that Boots is undisputed? That actually fights for undisputed? I'm just curious because there's a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts.
I love that you said the percentage of likeliness. You could have just said what is the likelihood.
I like the percentage of likeliness. It kind of flows better.
Of likeliness. That does sound better.
But listen, first of all, Boots versus Rolly is gonna go crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. That's gonna go crazy. I can't wait for that fight.
Hey, if we could get Boots versus Blair to Flair Cobbs, this might be a good alternative. Oh man.
Yeah.
Boots and Rolly's not going to go the way you think, Matt. And by that, I mean it's not going to happen at all. So that's
oh shit. Hey, listen, I like the WBA ordering all these mandatories, but they should order the Dimitri Bivol versus David Benavidez. They already
Yeah,
set the precedent with title consolidation. So
yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna
I
have
mean,
to tweet about this.
yeah, because it's like, wait a minute. So you're gonna order something where there isn't a WBA regular champion established yet, and won't be until next week. But
Yeah.
you already have a WBA champion that's been established since February 1st, and you haven't ordered that.
Do you have a link to order these WBA orders? Because I don't see anything on the Brunch Boxing page.
Uh,
Oh,
I mean, the thing was, I mean, I did share the screen there, so I mean,
okay.
if we shared the screen there, and for folks that are listening live, or you're able to check the live chat, you'll be able to see that link there that's provided. So it's right there for the people to look up there when it comes to the World Boxing Association.
Perfect.
Think that's pretty interesting there on that front. But yeah, at least for me, that like Ezra was saying, I think it just makes that be a little bit more interesting when it comes to what potentially could happen within the World Boxing Association, because if I'm not mistaken, the way that the ratings or the rankings are working there within the welterweight division, outside of Giasov, you got Jin Sasaki that's going ahead and going for the WBO. You got Rolly and Ryan that's rated at 2 and 3. Connor Bender's fighting, Chris Eubank Jr. this weekend. You got Gabriel Maestre that he ended up not having a fight or whatnot. So man, he's supposed to fight Nicholas Flowers on the Pro Box joint, man, and it didn't happen. Dang, man, they should reschedule that. That would have been a good fight. You know what I mean? I would have loved that fight. That should have went down. You know what I mean? So there's that, man, and so that's pretty much the situation there with the WBA right now, as far as like the welterweight division is concerned. And on the, like I said, with that super lightweight thing, I have to follow up with it. But like you said, if they're gonna go ahead and announce that fight card for June 19th, then why would they say, "Oh, we're gonna go ahead and try to get this fight in"? Like what, they would negotiate within 24 hours? That wouldn't make much sense. You know what I mean?
Or they did with like the guy that was on our show, Matt, when he said that he would call mandate fights that he felt were gonna get made. He would talk to promotions and be like, "Hey, what are you guys looking to make? What's actually realistic?" And then we'll mandate that fight, right?
Boy, what guy are you talking about? You're not talking about Gustavo, right?
Yeah, Gustavo. That's what Gustavo said.
Well, why'd you just call him that guy that was on our show?
I forgot his name. I blanked out his name.
He could recall it immediately.
Jesus, show some respect.
I couldn't recall it. Okay, but he said, so maybe it's that situation where he's like, hey, what fights are realistic? And they said, we can make this one. And they said, okay, we'll mandate it. So it looks good. We look good in all parts. We mandated it, you enforced it, and it's good to go. We all walk away smoothly.
I mean, it's just a crazy situation there, man. I don't know what's going on with that, like I said, I might have to, go ahead and speak with the president there of the WBA and why he is like having this particular situation happen the way it is happening. So, goodness gracious, man, goodness gracious. But there's also this upcoming fight card. Like I said, April 26th, there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, headlined by Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. They had their workouts, what was it, earlier today, whatnot. So, man, I don't know, man. How excited are y'all for this particular fight and the fight card in general? Like, what are you thinking about it?
The fight card's right? But for that fight, and I don't want to give away too much of what I'm going to say about boxing, but
No. You what are we doing here? No.
No, I'm gonna say
We're not half-assing on the boxing source.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna say the thing, but I'm just saying. I guess I'll add more I'll elaborate more on brunch boxing, but I'm gonna say this: there's very few times where a fight that has so much eyeballs that does absolutely nothing to the boxing landscape. No matter who wins or loses, the boxing landscape will not change one bit. Not one bit. Not one thing pivotal to boxing will happen after this fight. But I'm interested in watching it.
Are you just saying that because there's no title on the line?
No, I'm saying that because it doesn't matter. Eubank wins, it really doesn't matter. If
It
Conor
does.
Ben wins,
It
really
does.
doesn't matter.
If Eubank wins, it does matter.
If no one thinks either of these guys are gonna control a division or be a pound for pound guy, it really doesn't matter. This is one of those fights. It's like Amir Khan, Kell Brook. It really doesn't matter. I want to watch it. It's gonna have good energy. It's gonna have good attention, but it really does not matter to the landscape of boxing.
Wow. So you say it matters absolutely zero to the landscape of boxing, regardless of the result.
It's honestly like a Jake Paul Nate Diaz fight. You're like, I'll watch it, but it doesn't affect the other product I'm watching.
Oh man. So what about you, Matt? What are you thinking about it?
Well, I think the fight does matter for the simple fact that I think that if Chris Eubank Jr. wins, he will be getting Canelo Alvarez. Okay.
Another fight that doesn't matter to the landscape of boxing.
I don't expect Conor Ben to win. I don't think Conor Ben is very good. But if Conor Ben somehow pulls this off, then he is automatically a player at 160. Let's keep in mind listen. The 160-pound division is very thin. Can we all agree on that?
Yep.
So to me, the winner of this fight, whether or not we believe that they are of high caliber, they do have eyeballs on them. The winner of this fight is in the catbird seat when it comes to making big fights at 160. Then all of a sudden, Janibek has a potential opponent, then maybe Lara has a potential opponent, guys like that. Adames, he's probably going to be stuck with his mandatory, Nursultov, whatever his name is. That's happened in May 6th, that purse bid. So he's probably going to be stuck with that. But I do think the other guys like Janibek and Lara are going to have a real name coming out of this fight in order to fight in the future.
They'll have the option to take their career seriously after this fight. I'll say that.
Come on, dude.
How many title shots has Eubank turned down? How many fights has Eubank turned down to be a legitimate fighter? How many can he turn down to be like, well, okay, let me respect your career as a legitimate contender? He feels like he's not even a part of the middleweight division. That literally, like when you say he's in the middleweight division, I'm like, oh yeah, he is, but it doesn't feel like he's a part of it. He feels like he's in a different promotion, like he feels like he's in TNA, and we're talking about WWE guys. He really feels like that.
Man, yeah. For Eubank, I mean, I feel like it's more pressure on Eubank to win because like he's like right there on the doorstep of potentially fighting for a world title, and he could get that opportunity next if he wants to. Like I don't know why anyone would suggest that he could potentially fight Canelo Alvarez next. Like if Turkey Al-Sheikh pulls off that craziness, then that would be absolutely foolish. Just have Chris Eubank be there as a featured guy within the middleweight division. He gets this win, he would be the quote unquote money guy in the middleweight division, so he'll be able to.
What the fuck does that mean? Being a money guy in the middleweight division.
I know, right? But I mean, it doesn't.
I just checked my wallet. I might be the money guy in the middleweight division.
Hey, it won't take much for that. I mean, all you need to do is just win one time, get enough fans to watch it.
But I will push back on the Eubank and Canelo is a really like that big of a fall off from what we're getting now. Honestly, if you look at potential opponents, Eubank might be one of the better ones you could get with this whole Saudi Arabia deal. Honestly, like, so I can't say, oh, that'll be ridiculous. It's more par for the course and maybe avoiding even worse options what we can get. I mean, it seems like they're lining up a Shiraz fight now. Like you guys know, I'm a Shiraz guy. But
no.
What?
Yo, first you were a gentleman guy, then you
still
changed to Shiraz. No, you're not. You're not.
You gave up.
Oh my God.
Shiraz and them are not in the same weight division. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you're keeping up with the ins and outs of what's going on here.
Hey, listen, I'd rather have Eubank just fight one of these world champions in the middleweight division than to even entertain a fight with Canelo Alvarez in 2026 or something like that. Like, I don't see what the point of that would be for Canelo to do that. But hey, Canelo says that, hey, I feel like I'm at the point where I could fight anybody I want. So if he has his fight against William Skull and then potentially gets some money there to fight, Bud Crawford, and then after that, could fight anyone he wants, then maybe he could choose Chris Eubank there to get a golden ticket. You know what I mean? So that's like, one that feature fight that's there coming up on April 26th, man. You also got Liam Smith on the card. Of course, I'm not gonna call him that nickname. Ain't no way I'm doing that. Nah, I ain't doing that. You got that rematch there with Anthony Yarde and Lyndon Arthur that's on the card, and John Cena, aka Chris Billum Smith, returns to the ring after losing his belt, and then he's going to be fighting Brandon Glanton there in the cruiserweight division. That's going to be a key bout for both fighters. I mean, they're both
I like that matchup.
Both of the same record. Former world champion and Chris Billum Smith. Brandon Glanton wanted to get himself in a position to fight for a world title. He would have to get that win there. So, I like that fight. Actually, outside the main event, I'm interested in that Anthony Yarde Arthur rematch and this fight.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That fight sucks.
What? Come on,
bro. Lyndon Arthur is done.
Yeah. But if he does win that fight, if he does win that fight, there's a good chance he fights Canelo next.
Oh man. Listen, hey, if he couldn't really get past what was it, Liam Cameron? Come on, man. Like, Anthony Yarde should be able to, I guess, beat him up. But hey, listen, it's a third fight between the two, so why not have it?
If this fight goes past 4 rounds, then something is really wrong with Anthony Yarde. I need Anthony Yarde to knock him out in 1 round, because I need David Benavidez to beat the holy hell out of Anthony Yarde. All right, so I need this fight done expeditiously.
So he will be fighting Anthony Yarde for the vacant WBA title.
I need Boxer to step in and try to lower the rounds. That's what I need them to do. Let's try to get this to like a 6 round.
Why is it a 12-round bout? Why is this question for 12 rounds?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what's going on here. Oh man, that's just absolutely ridiculous. They have every one of these things here. Shout out to Christine in the building, strolling through, of course. We've been crushing it Wednesdays there with the host Christine. You got, of course, Nika there and Crystal there as the host of that weekly show on YouTube. There, it got Juice in the building. What's going on with you? You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say what was said about particular fighter that Christine is involved with in a direct or indirect manner. But we'll move forward. We'll move forward. The Cinco de Mayo weekend. I know we talked about what was going on there at Times Square. 3 fights. Rolly versus Ryan Garcia. Matt seems like he's gonna be signing Rolly Romero. I don't know how that. Listen, if Rolly Romero wins that bout, that would be I don't care. That would be one of the biggest upsets of the year if that happens. Okay, listen. Wait a minute. Who is Rolly training with? Who is Rolly's trainer? Did anybody
Does it matter?
Yeah, does it matter? I'll be honest.
Rolly gets out of bed and fights that way, so it doesn't matter.
I think Rolly's gonna win.
You know what? And you're wrong. But another thing is, these are two guys. These are two guys that really do not need trainers. I would actually prefer this fight if they both came in with no trainers and they just sat, and then when it was time to throw, they threw. Like both these guys, what are you really going to do with their style?
No, just have a cut man and a person to give them water.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man, that would be something if they kind of tried that, but nah, we know that that's not gonna happen.
Okay. This is the type of fight. I mean, look, it's way more. There's some fights that are just way more interesting if it's bare knuckle. This should be bare knuckle.
Come on, man.
Wait a minute. Man. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about the news that they added. This Rito Sutsumi guy having his pro debut on that card? So,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a big deal, by the way. I'm actually kind of upset that those people got their hands on him because he's a big deal and he has a chance to be a big star. Yeah. And I think those people will ruin him.
Can you guys fill me in on who this is?
He is a hugely decorated amateur, huge star. He's supposed to be the next Inoue.
Well, wait.
Oh, I have no clue what he's going to fight at.
They schedule a featherweight division.
Oh, okay. All right. He's got to grow. He's got to grow into stardom. But yeah, all right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, he's already a big deal. I don't understand why they're sticking him on this card. To be honest with you,
I don't know why either.
They probably paid his guy a pretty penny. His Japanese promoter, because he is a big deal out there. Like I would have thought that they would have tried to do what they did with Tenshin Nasukawa when he made his boxing debut. Just start sticking them in the co-feature on these cards as a feature bout. Like that's how big this dude is.
Yeah. Like geez, they said he started at the age of 9.
He's a prodigy. Boxing prodigy.
Like
boxing prodigy. So familiarize yourself with the name, Ezra.
I'm sure Lord and J-Roll will tell me all about him.
Yeah, most definitely. Look out for that there, as that'll be the first bout on the card. You're gonna have Teofimo Lopez going up against Ardo Barbosa Jr. And like I said, I'm rooting for Barbosa to get the win. I root for him to get the win. I'm sorry, we gotta put Teofimo Lopez out of the limelight.
But you know what? You don't have to only just root for it. I believe he has a very good chance of getting the win because he is the exact kind of fighter that Teofimo Lopez has struggled with historically.
Guy that moves in his defense first.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fight. I feel like that Teal's gonna have to rely on his name.
Do I still got it?
Yeah, do I still got it? Yeah, I don't know if he still got it. That's gonna be the thing with him. I don't know if he's gonna still have it or whatnot, because the fights against Jermaine Ortiz and Steve Claggett last year, and they were cheeks, man. They were just cheeks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? and I gotta tell you, Tio, if you gotta ask, the answer's no.
Yep, that's pretty much it. If you gotta ask, you know the answer, and that answer is no. So, looking forward to seeing if Barbosa could get that win. And then, of course, we got the thing there with Devin Haney and Jose Carlos Ramirez. Devin Haney currently ranked number 1 in the WBC in the welterweight division. Going up against Jose Carlos Ramirez, who, had come off that loss to Barboza there in November of last year. And, he'd be a competitor there at 140, but you're going to have him above 140 for this particular bout. Yeah, I'm not all too sure about that. Especially someone that, fights the style he fights. Yeah, it makes it, I would say fairly easy for Devin Haney. If Devin Haney is like 100% on his game, he should be able to, handle the business here against Ramirez. Even though like Ramirez is around the same height, pretty much around the same height as Dev, but the way that he like moves, like I don't see him like having that much success over the course of, as they say, 12 rounds here for this upcoming bout.
Yeah, and Ramirez is past it. You know what I mean? Like he's past it. So
are you sure?
Oh yeah, I mean, you just seen him get outboxed by Barboza, and he just looked like 2 steps.
Yeah, but that was at 140. You don't think moving up to 147 is going to make a difference at all for him?
No, because I've always told this, and then the guy loses again, and then someone will say something else. It's like, when are we going to call it when the guy goes up and he still loses? Like I've heard about Jensen Rosario 1,000 times. Like he's going to take a body shot better now because he's up a weight. It's like, no, it's not going to happen. This is going up. Is him searching for something, hoping that it gets better, but it's not going to get better. He's going to get outboxed.
All right, Nancy. Negative Nancy. I got to tell you, you're not doing a great job of selling this card, Ezra.
I'm boycotting this card. So I I'm literally boycotting it. If anything the TFM was on will not see my money or my eyeballs.
All right, let me ask you a question. Are you going to buy the Canelo card?
Yeah, I'm going to buy the Canelo card because I'm not boycotting that one.
So you're going to buy it separately?
Yes, I'm not getting the bundle. If I'm not buying thing, I'm not getting the bundle. I'm not bundling it up.
So you're gonna pay $60 to see Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull.
Yep.
You know what, man? I should get at this company. I don't know if I get hustled or not, but they're supposed to offer a free pay-per-view due to a settlement with DAZN or something. But I don't know what's going on with all that. It's either that or 3 months free.
That's what happened with that lawsuit?
Yeah.
With the free pay-per-view?
It's either you get 3 months of the DAZN subscription or 1 pay-per-view purchase.
I'm going to let them know, do not waste my pay-per-view purchase on Ryan Garcia. I'm boycotting. Save it for Canelo.
Why don't you see if you can finagle a bundle out of that?
I don't want the bundle. I was told $5,000 though, and I had 2 DAZN subscriptions. I signed up. I told my wife, buy the nice pair of shoes. We're getting $10,000 out of this bad boy. Guess not.
Nope. Nope. They only came up with a settlement, unless if you want to have a separate lawsuit. There.
Let me ask you a question. I don't mean to derail the show, but what kind of lawyer, right, gets a settlement? How did this even come up? How was that the negotiation?
Honestly, that might be the worst lawyer of all time.
Can we get a free pay-per-view out of you? That's what I get when I call my cable and my TV's a little blurry. Like, what are you talking about here?
Oh my God, yo! Oh my God, you couldn't even give him one pay. Like that ain't even $100. Like,
no, nothing.
Oh my goodness, that's just. Oh, that's insane. So speaking of that card that you're gonna buy, you got Canelo against William Skull. Rumor has it that Canelo is kind of lollygagging through camp, or has lollygagged through camp for this. William Skull isn't necessarily aesthetically pleasing in the ring. So
that's an understatement.
I know, right? So have a high chance of this being a 2 steps below Canelo versus Lara. And I would say this. Good thing it's gonna be a Riyadh. How about that?
I'm afraid to say this. Right. I think Canelo's falling off like every fight. I think he's falling off a little bit more and more, right? And I think the second half of the fight, he looks terrible. I mean, this is like the one thing like people say, oh, he doesn't have the power anymore. It's like it's not the power. It's that he's so sloppy and tired in the second half of the fight. He's not placing his shots anymore, right? He's just pushing them basically. He's a step slow. He's not seeing the shots. It's just one of those ones where I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo's down in those scorecards on this one. Like, I really would not. I would not be surprised if he's fighting a guy that's actually in his weight, that's a guy that's at least like close to his physical prime, in his physical prime, and moves around, gives him a hard time. Like, I'm not going to be stunned if Canelo struggles in this fight to get a decision.
Well, Ezra, what did I tell you was going to be Canelo's next two fights?
What?
I said William Skull and William Skull 2.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You have to say this. Yes. The worst part, absolute worst part, the part you're wrong at is if Canelo loses to William Skull, we're still getting Canelo Crawford.
No. So Canelo's going to lose, but they're going to pay William Skull to let Canelo keep the belts?
No, they're just
no. Hey, you know what would happen, Matt? It could be the same situation that happened when Zab Judah lost to that guy that I won't mention. Before Zab fought Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, like they're not going to stop that.
It'll be to the point where Skull won't be able to afford to have all of those.
There's so much investment in this Canelo Crawford, especially because that's probably going to be the first TKO card. Like, there's no way they're backing away from this. And I'm telling you, like, this Canelo thing, it just has something weird about it. It's something weird about that fight.
Yeah, it's not smelling all too good. Speaking of not smelling too good, this rematch between Jaime McGee and Bruno Sarachi, man, y'all have heard from me before about on this, man. I want Sarachi to put his man in the dirt. I want him to send McGee into the dirt. Come on, man. Listen. If you only gonna fight for a world title once and it's against Canelo Alvarez and you get 3-piece to get knocked down and then after that you really don't take much risk, then you don't really need to be competing in the division like that. So when Sarache sent him to hell last year, I was so happy. I want to see that happen again. I'm sorry, I want to see that happen again, guys.
It's like I feel about upsets. It was a fun moment. It was a fun 5 minutes, fun 10 minutes, fun night. But goodness gracious, we're gonna pay in the long run watching this fight again. There's no chance Arce has. He landed the shot, 1 in a million. He's not gonna land it again. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch 10-round beating in this fight, and that's just is what it is.
Man, I just want that. I just want that win to happen so bad, though. I'm sorry, but we can't even, get the situation that we had before, on this thing, man, because that moment like put out like one of the best look photos of the year, man. Like seeing what the photographer, he's like, get up. Oh man, that was like one of the greatest moments of the year. Let's see
it was.
Oh man. And then what was it? Who was it? Christina Parcher, like commentating during this, and she pretty much almost had like a monotone when it happened. I was like, yo, come on. Oh goodness, man. Since it's over in Riyadh, we won't be able to, see a moment like this unless maybe Turkey Al Sheikh had a little bit of money behind McGee, and then he gets knocked down once again by Bruno Sarachi, man. Oh no, man. He said McGee is a fun fighter. Why want him to lose again? Listen, man. When you're a fighter that you win the WBO super welterweight title, you don't fight for any other title at 154 or at 160, and then you chill out at 168 until you get that fight with Canelo Alvarez. Outside of that, he hadn't faced one top contender in the middleweight or super middleweight division. So if he's cool with just chilling and fighting, as they say, mid-card opponents, hey, more power to him. But outside of that, if you ain't willing to step up against the Mbillis or the Pachecos or the even the freaking even if you fought Berlanga, I would even say Berlanga. You know what I mean? Osleas Iglesias, like he wouldn't even face like someone like him. Like, come on, like what are we doing here?
Yeah, my thing is like, okay, because I don't root for fighters that lose a lot, right? But what I do is like I like watching the sport. I like to see the truth of the sport, right? And to me it gets to a point where it's like, hey, we're gonna enter the NBA playoffs. We get to the playoffs, then we get to the finals, and one of the teams of the finals is like, you know what? Nah, screw the finals. I'm gonna play the Wizards again. And you're like, wait, what? Like, yeah, I'm just gonna play the Wizards. Like, I don't want to play the finals. That's what happens sometimes in boxing, right? You get to the point where you're like, oh, these two guys are going to face off. And one guy's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Then I start to root for you to lose because I'm like, oh, you're delaying the process of us finding out the truth. And I don't like that.
Yeah, that's the thing that I see there with Jaime Munguia. I mean, I won't forget that Jaime Munguia was like one step facing Jamal Charlo there at 160 pounds, and then it all fell through there, you know what I mean? And it was never revisited. So, like outside of who? Like Eric Bazinian, that's the only other, I guess, and some could probably say that Bazinian is a big Carter himself. Then who else is he facing in the super middleweight that's, worth mentioning? You know what I mean? So
was it Derevchenko at super middleweight or was that a middleweight?
Oh yeah, the Derevchenko was, I think
past
that was
his prime. Derevchenko,
yeah, he really passed it though. Derevchenko was past it. You know what I mean? And, no, that was super middleweight. That was his first bout actually around that super middleweight joint.
Yeah,
but yeah, Derevchenko was past it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, you had that. What else is on that card? Badu Jackie's fighting on that card. You're going to have that Martin Bacoli, Efe Jagba on that card. So Bacoli is getting more money after stepping in on February 22nd. So, good for him on that front. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much that card. And, as I mentioned there for May 4th, you're going to have Naoya Inoue that's going to be defending his undisputed titles against Ramon Cardenas. He is, in the U.S. now. So you're going to have Inoue take over. Like I mentioned before there with Edward Kid Vasquez, he's going to be fighting for that WBO featherweight title there against Rafael Espinoza. Scheduled to have Edward Kid Vasquez on the YouTube channel here tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time here. So be sure to, tune in for that. So we're going to be talking with him just, a week before he heads out to, Vegas for that big title fight against Rafael Espinoza there. So it's pretty much, what they got for that card. Outside of that, I hadn't seen. Oh, wait, hold up. I got the thing here from Top Rank. I just pulled it up, right? Because it's supposed to have, let me see if I could pull it up here. I think Rohan Polanco is on that card as well. And who else did I have on this joint? Because I had it through the email and all. Oh, yeah. Rohan Polanco versus Fabian Maidana. And you're going to have Emiliano Vargas that's supposed to be on this card as well. So that's what we got there. And also, Makito Nakano versus Pedro Marquez. And Rais Salim is scheduled to be on the card. I hadn't seen that they found an opponent for him yet, but Rais Salim is supposed to be on that card as well for May 4th. So hopefully we get more information or more complete fight card there for that May 4th thing coming up. That's at T-Mobile Arena. All right. So that's what I had there, man. As far as like other news and notes, We know about the whole thing with Shakur Stevenson and Turkey Al-Sheikh and them, shaking hands and, kissing and making up and all that type of stuff. So that's why you're going to have Shakur Stevenson there that's going to be, defending his WBC title there against his, mandatory challenger or scheduled for his mandatory defense of that WBC lightweight title there. So, hey, more power to him going up against Cepeda. Cepeda, after his fights against Seven Farmer, I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning, more favoring more towards Shakur Stevenson, and the odds kind of like reflect that here at least so far. So that's what they got for that. And as I mentioned there, with with David Morrell Jr. going up against Imam Katayev on that card, good bout between Subriel Matias and Alberto Pollo for the WBC super lightweight title. So that's on that as well. And Edgar Berlanga is on that card. He's gonna be fighting there against what was it, Turk Al-Sheikh's favorite super middleweight or favorite fighter.
That's an excellent card, by the way. That is an
excellent
card.
It is. It is
a banger from top to bottom. I can't wait for that Morrell versus Katiev fight. Katiev is actually pretty good, and he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah,
I really want to see what David Morrell does with him, because this will tell us if it'll tell us how that David Benavidez victory should be looked at. If Morrell goes out there and does what he's supposed to do and shows that he's one of the 4 best light heavyweights in the world, then no harm, no foul. But if he goes out there and lays his stink or gets beat by Katiev, then you have to start looking a little bit differently at, what we saw on February 1st.
I mean, so, and it's kind of interesting because if y'all check the box rec, it says that Imam Katayev has the vaunted bout against TBA on June 5th in Montreal. So I guess he'll eventually get scratched from that card. I mean, come on, it's Katayev versus David Morrell Jr. And being part of that card, you're gonna get a whole good amount of money for that instead of being involved in a fight card there in Montreal. So that's what I like with that. And for me, another interesting thing there is to have Subriel Matias go after the WBC title there. Of course, against Alberto Pollo. Pollo, we saw him there on March 1st against Sandor Martin. Got a split decision win there against Sandor Martin. I thought that they would kind of like have another fight lined up for him, but nope. They got Subriel Matias, who it was supposedly the IBF mandatory, but nope. And we see that Richard Hitchens is going the route of facing George Kambosos Jr. Shout out to George Kambosos for getting himself in another world title fight. But for Subriel Matias, this one is going to be a good one. And hey, I think it's going to be a measuring stick fight for both fighters to see like how good they really are as far as like being around the top of the super lightweight division. So
come on, man. No. You got to give Alberto Pollo a little bit more credit than that. He beat Gary Antuanne, he beat Sandor Martin, and now he's fighting Subriel Matias. So to me, this for Pollo is a referendum on whether or not he's the top guy at 140, because he has the best recent resume. We got to give him respect to that. Now with Matias, this is a damn good fight. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how this fight's gonna go. I could see this fight going a few different ways. This is an excellent fight. But to me, Pollo has a chance to separate himself from everybody else at 140 with a win against Matias. And then obviously Matias, he's going to get back to the top. And I do wonder how Matias is going to perform without that rehydration. That might be to his advantage when it comes to his stamina.
Yeah, he'll definitely be able to like like throw punches and bunches and continue to move forward. They're pretty much around the same height. Same height, around the same reach. So it's gonna make for a very, very good fight there between those two. So yeah, that's gonna be something, man. But July 12th, they're locking it down for July 12th. Geez, that weekend is gonna be absolutely insane over in New York if they're gonna put it in New York. So ooh, that's what they got there so far. So, hey, I pretty much knocked down just about everything here within 1 hour for the midweek report. Yeah, there's like the little rumor about what could potentially happen this summer involving the WBC welterweight title. Yeah, that's pretty much a done deal. So, what is it going to be? Probably within the next month. You may see an announcement on it. It just depends on the date that they lock down for it, because it really is contingent on what happens with one of those guys come June. What is that? June 8th? Yeah, June 8th. Yeah. So after June 8th, we'll see what they're going to be doing there in reference to this potential fight, this potential big event that is planned for the summer. All right. So that's that on one end. And the other thing is just looking forward to tomorrow in the sport of boxing. We got a scheduled press conference for the May 31st card, as you're going to have that Caleb Plant versus Armando Resendiz and Jamal Charlo versus Thomas Cornflake Lamana. Of course, it's going to be in the Michelob Ultra Arena May 31st. All right, so we're going to have that virtual press conference tomorrow. So I'll be sure to tune into that. As I mentioned, Edward Kid Vasquez live here on YouTube at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then in the evening around 6 p.m., should be around 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have Chris Cyborg on playing for that. So, yeah, so 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Chris Cyborg there. So very, very busy Thursday here for the boxing store. So definitely looking forward to all that. So that's what I got here for the midweek report. Anything here from you, Matt, before we roll out?
Yeah, fuck Dan Rayfield. That's it.
Yeah, fuck Dan Rayfield. With that being said, y'all, we are done with the midweek report. I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.